Hello, welcome. So, today I want to talk about success, the tendency to compare ourselves with others, and what supports us in allowing what we want, and what drives us, what acts, what represents some kind of driving forces towards the pursuit of our desires and the allowance of our the manifestations. Mm, just checking in, just wondering the energy I have access to, what, knowing that, what would be the easiest way to talk to you about all this. I guess I'm just going to take a few seconds just to breathe and chill and let the next impulse to emerge. Today, I caught myself a few times having some, I would call them shitty thoughts, in the sense that they were not really empowering, they were not really exhilarating, not really joyful, not really loving, no self-loving thoughts. They were rather on the frequency of criticism, blaming, and desperating thoughts. So I caught myself having those kind of thoughts a few times today, and especially I'm thinking of that right now as I'm looking at my flat, looking at the plant and behind me, and a drawing of myself when I was around 20. And I remember today I had some moment where I really was comparing what I have, my apartment, to, I don't even know who, but I guess I was comparing to an idea of what a part of me thought my surroundings, my life setting should look like. And when I was doing that, it felt very painful at some point, and it was in some way very familiar to very things that, I mean, familiar in the sense that, okay, I'm going to speak frankly. I think, I want to compare the process of thinking with the process of digesting the food we eat. Sometimes all the time we eat food and we we evacuate, shit and piss, basically. We eliminate the things that the body doesn't need to keep, right? And I like the idea of comparing the system, the process of, experiencing life and having thoughts, receiving thoughts, and evacuating those the thought that doesn't serve us anymore. And I think that when we are doing good, basically we evacuate, naturally, and we make space for the new, and we digest, we integrate, and then we are refreshed and available for more, for more, eating more, living new experiences. Every night we sleep, we kind of reset with if we had a good night. But there's some moments where we are kind of constipated physically, but also I think there's moments where we are constipated mentally, emotionally, where there's things that actually stay in the system and doesn't really circulate and doesn't make space for something else. So what I'm saying is that I discovered today something that I think is creates something new, a new possibility, and I want to share with you. First of all, to for the joy of sharing it, uh, for supporting integrating it even more, and for also the possibility of of finding honing the idea and getting rid of what I don't need about it, and keeping and strengthening what I think belongs to. Don't know how to finish my sentence. Um, I think we're changing every second. I'm changing every second. You're changing every second, and there's cells of my body that are dying every second, and but there's also new cells that are created. So there's cycles of life, and there's things that supports the cycle to go smoothly and basically being natural and flowing, and there are things that kind of create some kind of resistance and tension and or irritation or pain or even diseases. So what I want to explore on the topic of success and comparing ourselves and what it drives us is to kind of bring some kind of new ways, new distinctions that may support our ability to see new possibilities, see new things that were not possible before I started to talk. So I guess what I'm inviting you to do already is to listen to me in a way that is not in a sense of, do I connect with that? Do I resonate with that? Do I agree with that or not? But rather in terms of connecting to what you really want, is important for you right now, and checking whatever that is happening right now. How does it? What emerges in terms of? I'm going to say it again. What I invite you to listen to me is, I'm tired. So okay, new possibilities for me is to breathe and chill. Take my breath. I'm tired. That's okay. So something kind of started to resist, and the flow of my ideas, slow down a bit. And I can fight against it, or just let it be, let it go, and just instead of constipating myself with that, letting it go. It happened. There was something that happened, whatever it was in the space, that kind of slowed down a bit my path. And the question is how I am right now. How are you right now? How do I feel? What becomes possible right now? So yes, my invitation is to listen to what I'm saying through the filter of this question, which is, what becomes possible as Remy is talking, as you're listening to Remy? What becomes possible for you in your life? What is the new possibilities that emerges for you? I have a piece of paper just above my head where it's written, giving you time to imagination is the most delicious of the possessions. It's by Daniel Audier. Then there's another one from a French author called Christian Bobin, named Christian Bobin, and he says, a lot of very beautiful things are awaiting for us without never getting impatient not to see us coming. And I think it really kind of highlights exactly what I'm trying to say, is that when we are constipated with our thoughts, with our emotions, with our body, with the food we've been eating, we ate. There's something that is kind of clogged, blocked, and there's not much room for what ease and grace and the clarity of the obvious next step. And I'm thinking, when there is, when we are available, it's also okay to do nothing, to wait for the next impulse, for the next wave, as I was saying yesterday, comparing our lives to surfers being in the water between two waves. So when we are in those space between two waves, or between two impulses, or between two clarity of projects, what happens in those moments? What happens in our minds, in our emotions, in our bodies? How do we relate to all that? Are we encumbered by shitty thoughts, or inspiring thoughts, or chilling thoughts, or relaxing thoughts, or are we encumbered with, painful feeling? Salut François. Hi. J'ai fait la vidéo. Je sais pas si tu parles anglais, mais en tout cas, j'ai fait la vidéo juste avant en français. Anyway, back to English. Yes, I was saying. When we are in a moment between two waves, two impulses, two projects, two clear actions, how do we relate to ourselves, in those moments? Do we have our emotional space kind of free, relaxed, chilling, flowing, or is it encumbered by some kind of past pain, emotions, or past thinking, past habits of thinking that kind of blocks the space or encumber the space? Are we free? Are we free to connect to what we really want right now? And if we don't know what we want, are we able to nonetheless chill and be peaceful with ourselves wherever we are? Or do we have kind of habits to kind of fight against ourselves mentally, emotionally, physically? Are we kind of comparing ourselves with others? Or are we comparing ourselves with where we think we should be? And if we do that, do we have ways to let it go? Like when we need to make a shit or to piss, we go to the toilets, or if we are in nature, we're going in a comfortable place where we can release what we need to release, to make space within our system to be at ease again. So do we have a system as well in our life, or systems in our lives? And I think we have, like we sleep every night. That helps to do a reset of our nervous system. So there's many ways that works for us to kind of evacuate what needs to be evacuated. To say what we need to say, or that we want to say, to support the flowing and the circulating of energies and the flow of life and the cycles of life to continue. So now I want to check and I invite you to do the same, to check where you are right now in this moment. emotionally, mentally, physically, and ask yourself this question: what, having heard Remy said what he said, and me having said what I said, what does it make it possible? What is becoming possible? Do we have space? And I invite us to kind of make space with that question. What is becoming possible right now? What is emerging? What is the newborn desire, the newborn possibility that just emerged? For me, the possibility that emerged today, and it's right now, it's emerging. Possibility is emerging to say it again and trying to see if I can get even more clarity just by naming it. But the possibility that just clicked in my mind right now is the possibility to consider that whatever is happening in our lives, mentally, emotionally, or physically, is either the expression of a flowing, natural capacity of being alive and enjoying life, or the expression of that something is kind of constipated in some way. And if we are constipated, the question goes to what's the possibility? What comes up for me is that it's possible to acknowledge that we are constipated rather than fighting against ourselves and beating ourselves up for being constipated. When we are constipated, it doesn't help to take a stick and beat our head with it, right? Sometimes when we are constipated with our mind, with our emotions, we have crazy ideas that doesn't really work. And that's part of the constipation. So what becomes possible for me is, and that I'm sharing with you, and I'm asking you, what do you see possible coming up? For me, it's that at any moment of time, I can imagine knowing that I am exactly and perfectly where I am, and that it's okay. And at any given moment of time, I can enjoy myself. And if I'm not, it's okay. Help is on the way. Help is on the way. So right now I want to take a moment just to check again how I feel right now, and if there's more I want to say. Yeah, I guess there's a question which is, when we are not able to enjoy our lives where we are, what we have, there may be a sign there is some kind of constipation going on within ourselves. And I think there's no shame to feel, to acknowledge that sometimes we are constipated, either physically, emotionally, or intellectually. Then comes the question, which is what helps us when we are constipated? And then there's the opposite, when we're not constipated, but we just need to evacuate. We have toilets in our houses that helps evacuate, for the thing that our body is evacuating, or evacuates. But when we need to evacuate our thoughts, our emotions, what do? Sometimes we go dancing, and that helps evacuate some tensions and emotions. And even sometimes by evacuating, sometimes it could be something positive, when you want to express your joy and share your celebration, something you experienced in the day or the day before or the week before, or the year before, or the growing that you see in your life, the progress you see in your life. You also want to express it, to let it out. It doesn't. It's not made to be contained in ourselves. There's something that needs to move. So it's important to find ways to let everything flow, including what we think, what we feel, and feel that we are part of the whole, that we are part of everything, and that there's nothing wrong with our shit, with our peace, with our shitty thoughts, with our difficult emotions. There's nothing wrong with all of that. It's just part of life. So, in terms of possibility, I see that not sure how to frame it in terms of possibility. Right now, it's coming in a form of a sense of appreciation right now for being alive, sharing with you what I'm sharing with you right now. And the possibility I see now is to consider as abnormal in a sense of not balanced enough. Whenever there is thinking towards myself, towards my life, towards the way I interact with others, that seems to say that I'm not in the right place. So the possibilities I see is the possibility to, if I generalize it a bit more, is to see that whenever there is something that seems to say that what is happening shouldn't or it's bad, to consider that it's just a form of constipation and that too shall pass. So sometimes in between two appreciation of things, we find ourselves in a place where we struggle to appreciate anything, and this too shall pass. Thank you for your attention. I'm satisfied with what I explored with you today. And now I want to take a few seconds to just dream of what is desired. What do we want to see happen next? What do you want to see happen? And if nothing comes up, it's okay. Or whatever came up, that's okay too. For me, what came up is the thoughts in the form of, oh, here I am again, trying to articulate what is it I want and failing dramatically. That's the thought that came to my mind, right? You see, do you think it's a supportive thought? Do you think it helped me? It wasn't really pleasant to feel, to think. But then came that possibility of just allowing what is as the best expression of what needs to be expressed right now. And so it helped to chill out and start fighting against the idea. You know, it's like I had this crazy image and funny image today. Like, imagine when we were going to after we were going to the toilets, imagine if we were going to fight against our shit or fight against our piss, you know, kind of making a mess of just hating it, and, you know, you should be there, and, you know, using the brush and kind of hitting our shit and piss. It would be terrible image. I'm sorry for that, but I find it quite funny to imagine that sometimes we do that. We fight our own thoughts. We fight our own shitty thoughts instead of just letting them go and flushing them. So what's the system that helps us flush those shitty thoughts, those painful feelings we have? What helps to kind of let everything go that we don't need anymore, right? So as I just did, I asked the question, you know, what do we want to see happen? And I had this thought that came out, you know, oh, you don't know what you want, blah, blah, blah. And I was trying to fight against that. But if I just let it go, it just passed, flush it. And then stay present. What does it make possible to just be present a little longer to yourself, to what you feel, to what you think, to what you want, to your body, to what's going on between you and you, to what's going on between you and the person you are interacting with. What does it make possible? For example, if I use this thought that came, you know, what does it make possible that I thought for a second, I don't know what I want? It makes possible to relax, to chill, and to consider that I don't have to want anything. I don't have to have a goal. I don't have to have a project. It makes possible to just enjoy being where I am, exactly as I am, doing exactly what I'm doing. And that feels good. So, what this moment is making possible for you. And if nothing emerges, that's okay. It's just a question. I'm inviting you to take that question with you and explore, see if it helps you create something or see something that wasn't possible before to suddenly becoming possible for you. What becomes possible? What is becoming possible right now for you? For me, what just emerges, what becomes possible is to cultivate being present, even if tough feelings, tough emotions emerges, even if tough thinking emerges, still cultivating the ability to be present. And to feel self-connected, to feel connected to this part of ourselves that loves, believes in us, sees us beautiful as human beings, as creatures, as living beings. Thank you. See you tomorrow if you want. I'm going to do another video tomorrow.